Hello, I'm Yashar Z, Sany, your host for the Iranian Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about podcasts. Podcasts have become very popular these days. The industry has grown a lot, and now there are over 4 million podcasts. However, according to Pat Flynn, if we look closer, only around 425,000 podcasts actively release new episodes. That means just only 10% of all podcasts are still active. One of the most influential podcasts in this industry is the Joe Rogan Experience. It has now become one of the most listened to podcasts in the world. In this episode, we'll explore what a podcast is, where it started, and how successful podcasts like Joe Rogan managed to grow and attract millions of listeners. Back in 2003, there were no smartphones and downloading from the internet wasn't easy. That's when Christopher Lydon in Boston came up with an idea. He thought there should be a program that people could listen to anytime they wanted. This idea led to the creation of the first ever podcast, Radio Open Source. It covered topics like art, philosophy, politics, and social issues. In 2004, Ben Hammersley combined the words iPod and broadcast to create the term podcast. At that time, people downloaded audio files on their computers and listened to them later using iPods or MP3 players. Now, the world is full of diverse and interesting podcasts. If you want to listen to all of them, there are more than 100 million episodes available. According to global statistics, the number of podcast listeners grew from 274 million in 2019 to 505 million in 2024. In the US, podcast advertising revenue reached $2.3 billion in 2023. It's expected to grow to $3.5 billion by 2025. One of the most popular podcasts is Smart Passive Income, hosted by Pat Flynn. This podcast teaches online business methods and helps entrepreneurs make money. It earns over $2 million annually through ads, digital product sales, and sponsorships. Pat Flynn often says, "If I can do this, so can you." His honesty and transparency have earned him trust and made his podcast super successful. Another popular podcast is Crime Junkie. It gained attention from the start and earned over $15 million from ads and sponsorships in 2022. Its storytelling and strong sponsors have made it a success, eventually leading to the creation of a content company called AudioChuck. As mentioned, one of the most successful and lucrative podcasts is the Joe Rogan Experience. It started in December 2009. The first episode had just 250 viewers, and the setup was very simple. But its natural and unfiltered conversations attracted an audience. This podcast has released over 2,200 episodes and continues to grow. Joe Rogan transformed podcasts into a major platform and attracts millions of listeners and took the industry to a whole new level. In 2020, Joe Rogan signed an exclusive deal with Spotify worth over $100 million. The podcast is downloaded about 190 million times per month, with a total of over 1.5 billion downloads. One of the most famous episodes featured Elon Musk and got tens of millions of views. Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, talked about future technologies, artificial intelligence, and his space projects. Of course, one of the most controversial moments was when Musk smoked marijuana during the episode. But aside from that, the deep discussions and Musk's insights made this episode a hit with over 68 million views on YouTube. Another popular episode of this podcast featured Edward Snowden with 32 million views on YouTube. Snowden, the famous WikiLeaks whistleblower, revealed how the NSA, or National Security Agency, was spying on people. He also shared how these revelations led to the U.S. intelligence agencies chasing him. Another popular podcast is Huberman Lab. It released its first episode in January 2021. Andrew Huberman aimed to explain complex neuroscience in simple language for everyone. The podcast started with basic equipment, just a camera and a microphone. As his audience grew, he upgraded to professional equipment, and his fan base kept expanding thanks to his very engaging content. This podcast has plenty of fascinating episodes. Interviews with well-known figures like Tim Ferriss, a fellow podcaster, and professional experts like Sam Harris have helped him attract fans across different fields. By the end of 2023, it had been downloaded over 100 million times and gained millions of viewers on YouTube. Huberman Lab is now one of the top podcasts in science education and continues to grow its audience every day. To succeed in podcasting, there are a few key points to remember. First, start, even if you feel unprepared. Second, talk about what you're super passionate about. Third, be yourself. Honesty and authenticity can create a special connection with your audience. These days, podcasts have proven their power as a serious medium for both entertainment and news. Comparing different episodes shows how impactful this platform has become. The future of podcasts looks bright and full of potential. Now, independent creators can reach a global audience without relying on TV or radio networks. Today, we briefly learned that podcasts have grown from a simple idea to a popular and influential medium. Honesty, passion, and authenticity remain the most important factors for their success. As demand grows, this industry continues to expand and generate significant revenue. Please share this episode of podcast with your friends who are interested in podcasting. And until next time, listen, learn, love. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening to the Ultimate Iranian Podcast, where interviews ignite, uplift, and broadcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. For more information, please visit IranianOfTheDay.com.